Okay, hey everybody, and welcome back. So we're going to talk today about the next competition, which is the flag competition, depositing the flag here on the dome. So before we do that, we want to give a couple of reminders for the class. You have reports due this week in studio, so make sure that you get those in, get some feedback from your instructors. In terms of last week's competition, in terms of the sensor decoys, the best team scored the highest number of points that were possible. That was in Dr. Smith's and Omar section, so congratulations to that team. In this video, what we're going to talk about is the flag competition, give you some reminders in terms of the scoring and the rules for that competition, and then talk a bit about some of the things that we want to remind you about in terms of studio usage. So I have Ivan Ren, one of the head TAs here, as well as Beza Akyun, who's one of the undergraduate TAs in the studio. So I'm going to turn it over to them. Ivan's going to talk a little bit about the scoring, the boxing, and Beza's going to talk a little bit about the tasks involved. So
this coming week, your task is to not only do what the previous tasks were as well, but to deposit the flag in one of the 4 zones that are on the summit here. So the zones are numbered 4, 3, 2, 1, and the points range from 4, 11, 22, and 4, 44. And your device has to drop the flag in the zones, and you get the point according to where your flag is.
In addition to what Beza was saying, so in terms of where the scoring actually happens on the flag, we take the position of the base as which zone you're in. So for example, if you are in between the first and the second zones, we take the lowest scoring zone as your score. Also, if it happens during the competition that your flag gets knocked over like this, and it stays on the dome, the position of the base is the location at which you're scored. So now, moving on, we've got a lot of questions about things like blocking, if you can defend your flag, and the solution that the team has come up with is that we're just dividing up this center summit here into quadrants. Basically, you're allowed to operate only inside the quadrant, outside of this center 4.5 inch circle here. Inside that 4.5 inch circle is considered a common zone, and we won't disqualify you for any interactions that happen from there. Unless, of course, you intentionally demolish somebody else's robot.
in terms of if you knock over a flag, be sure to read the rules. If you knock over a flag, then that's going to be scored as a 0 for you if you're the one who caused that to happen. And there's going to be points given to the team that you knocked the flag off in terms of the dome. So take a look at that. We're going to provide some diagrams also in that FAQ page that help reiterate some of these same points.
So one other thing that we want to go over is make sure that everybody's on the same page in regards to the boxing rules. So what's going to happen during the competition is you're going to have your robot in your hand, and the instructor is going to say, take the track. Once that happens, you have 3 minutes and 45 seconds in order to set everything up. So the first thing you want to do, is put down your robot and make sure everything is plugged in. That is one of the most common mistakes that we see during the competitions, is people just forgetting to plug things in. Make sure to remember to plug in your banana plugs, your 2 AC adapters, and also make sure that the adapter is actually plugged into your driver board. We had that happen a few times where students just forgot to do that part and the machine wouldn't actually trigger. So once this happens, then your instructor is going to ask you to box. You're allowed to have your wires hanging out when this happens, and as long as the box is able to sit flat, the instructor is going to say, okay, it's up. And what you want to be careful about is making sure that your robot doesn't move when that happens. As soon as that's done and you're ready to go, the instructor is going to press the track remote and you're going to start triggering and your competition begins then.
So one thing to add to what Ivan was saying, when you go to put down your device, because you're going to be off the side of the track and you can't approach the track until the instructors say take the track, you're going to have to be able to pump your system up, charge the pneumatic cylinder after you put the device down. So you're going to be, as soon as you get down here on the track, put your device down, you're going to plug in the electronics, as well as charge the pneumatic cylinder, and then position it so that you can box. So make sure to have all those things on your checklist, and hopefully that you're not going to miss any of these points, because certainly during the competition, the amount of activity going on and distractions can lead to people forgetting those different elements of the setup.
So just a couple reminders, just to reiterate some things. There are no power tools allowed in the studio classroom. We don't have the dust collection system in place for that. So if you need to drill or do anything, just go ahead and move outside into the IDEA lab. Also, there's no building on the tracks. That's just to preserve the tracks for future semesters. Also, one thing is to be careful with your robots in regards to testing them on the track. I've noticed a little bit of damage on a couple of tracks already with regards to, these target zones being scraped up and such. So please be careful and try to preserve the tracks for other students as well.
And that last particular point that Ivan brought up is important because you can be disqualified if you damage the track. So that'll be up to the track judges in terms of what that means. But usually, if you're damaging the track in terms of scraping paint off, that's going to be something that you'll want to try and avoid. With that, we want to wish you good luck on the next set of builds. We wanted to get this video out a little bit early because we want you to use as much time as possible in the studio to balance out the workload from this week to next week. And we look forward to seeing you field some good designs next week. All right, thank you.